Hi guys, welcome to this episode of Best of 7. Now, the criteria that I'm using here today is a little complicated, so let me let me just explain that. So the first thing is it has to be an album that I personally own, and secondly, it has to be an album that came out this year. Thirdly, it has to be an album that I think is a different genre. I'm hitting all different genres today, 7 different genres. Next, we're going to go with a album that I think offers something unique to the table in terms of listening. And fifthly, it's going to be something that is not black metal. It doesn't have any black metal elements. So that's the criteria for today's Best of 7. Now, the first album, which I left out of the previous one, which I feel like I sort of should have included in the last one, was this particular band, War of Ages, and the album is Void. Very good album. Very good album. So, what can we say about this? Well, it's metalcore, and it's really polished metalcore. Some of the stuff that's in here is really, really good, and it's complex stuff, and I really like that. So, that's the first one. Second one, which is not even what you would consider metal at all, it's what you would consider uh, post rock. That's the genre that this band goes under. The album is Violence by My Epic. Now, this is a really, really good album, and I have it as contender for EP of the year. Now, this is really deviating from my normal interests, as I don't really get into the post rock genre too much. However, what is on this is actually really, really good, and I recommend everyone at least checking this out, at least checking out the song White Noises, because I think it's one of the best songs that have released in this whole year. So that's that. Next, we have a old school hardcore band called Raid. Now, Raid stands for Ruben and the Imperium Division, and what's unique about this is that they play old school hardcore genre, but the thing about it is that they're like the only old school hardcore band in India, and that's where these guys are from. These guys are from India, and they play this kind of music, and they really are pioneers of what's going on in India as it is now. Now, what's more is that they are under a Christian record label of Rottweiler Records, and they have gained a fairly large following for their material. So that's them. Next, we have a band that I don't think I could have possibly left off this list, as I'm looking for more unique type of material, and that is, of course, Death Therapy. Now, Death Therapy is a band that is basically a metal band, but they don't have a guitarist at all. So that's one thing that's really unique about Death Therapy, is that they have no guitarist, and Jason Wisdom, who is the composer of the music in Death Therapy, has said, the frontman of Death Therapy has said, we will never have a guitarist. So that's really interesting there. These guys are off Solid State Records, and Jason Wisdom does some really interesting things, and as I understand it, he's in the writing process right now, and this just came out this year, so he's moving at a good clip. Next, we have another band from Rottweiler Records, and this band has a really unique blend of heavy, but at the same time mainstream, but at the same time sort of a niche interest of metal. And they've gained a huge following from their song "Who Told You," which debuted way back in the spring of the year. And that is, of course, the band 13 Minutes. Now, this is a great album, and I need to revisit it, really. I think I should really revisit some of the stuff that released earlier on in the year, barring Scald, of course, because I revisit that quite often. But yeah, they have a really unique sound as far as metal goes, and yeah, so a really interesting band here. They bring something new to the table. And of course, I could not leave off this album either, as these guys are right up there with Skald in terms of how good I think this album actually is. It's a new band, and they came out with their debut in October, I believe, or it could have been. I believe it was September 11th that this came out, but I'm not entirely sure on that. Sorry if that's inaccurate, but I couldn't leave off this album as it brings something completely new to the table, and that is Hydjir, and the album is Kavit. And this is the album right here. Now, I actually purchased 2 of these albums, one to give to my pastor, which I gave to him and he was thankful for. So this is a really unique album because it's symphonic psalmic metal, which is the way I would see this genre of particular metal, is symphonic psalmic metal. Very good stuff here, very unique stuff, and pulls from really old sources of music that has been largely neglected. So very cool there. Lastly, as we see some of the more in the same vein of what is typical of a particular genre, which is in line with as also Void by War of Ages, and that is that they both sort of stick to the mainstream while offering something different. And of course, this band is Wolves at the Gate. This is an album called Eclipse. Very good album here. Now, I know I haven't reviewed this, and I think it's a little late for me to review it now, but really a good album. Don't know if it's Album of the Year contender, but a lot of people think so. So this is one that you probably want to pick up. I would probably rate this at about a 9 or a 9.1 or maybe even a 9.2. Really good stuff here by Wolves at the Gate. Well guys, that was my best of 7 video for albums that I own, albums that came out this year, different genres, something that I think provides something new to the table, and something that is not black metal. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Until next time.